Dear friend, I want you to remember this time, and I want you to remember these moments because these are great. In the rare event, and there's one thing that radio taught me, you always have to remember that somebody may be in for the first time, somebody who's never been a part of this. So in the event you happened upon this show for the first time, this consortium, this plenum of the conspiratorium, this clerisy, there's one thing that I want to give you. I'm always going to tell you what's happening and how the patient is. I'm not going to give you a lot of ha 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 unless it's warranted. Ladies and gentlemen, mare or more, my eyes are mare or mare. Thank you. Thank you tremendously. I don't know how to say this other than to tell you how things are going now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, how they're going right now. If it's good news, if it's bad news, if it's interesting news, I'm going to tell you exactly the way it is. I am large. I contain multitudes. I think Whitman said it best. Now, at 8 o'clock this eve, theoretically, though I'm not too sure, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. is going to be speaking allegedly to the country, allegedly, putatively. And we're going to stop at 8 o'clock and reconvene right after. So we'll take this all the way to 8, and then we're going to do it afterwards to see what you think, what your take was. Now, today, I feel completely different today as I did yesterday. Oh my God. Hang on. Oh my God. I feel completely different. And the reason why I feel different is because of a number of different things that are going on. What was said, what was reported, and the like. Let me see if I can explain and go through this to you. First and foremost, yesterday's announcement, the initial introduction of Carmelita. There's Pilgrim, by the way. He says, do you have a channel called Lionel Legal? Yes, I do, Pilgrim. Yes, I do. And I was on today, my friend. Please subscribe, all of you wacky, crazy people, to Lionel Legal. I will give you that link as well. Thank you for bringing that up. But I'm seeing things that are happening. When Kamala came out, it was best described by a lot of different pundits or pundits, as they say, for a reason I don't know why. But it was a sugar high. It was this weird kind of reaction, like this is the greatest thing in the world. And it's like, okay, fine. And that was very important. By the way, this is the Lionel Legal link for, oh, hang on. This is Lionel Nation. What am I doing? I got the wrong one for you. That doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. Where's Lionel Legal? Here we go. Here we go. This one right here. Sorry about that, Chief. Okay, so yesterday was a sugar high. Everybody was just going crazy, just going nuts, okay? That's it. Lionel Legal. Everybody was going crazy. Everybody was going crazy. But oh, isn't she great? And she came out and they loved it. And I said, okay, let's watch this. Don't in any way take her less than seriously. Don't in any way say there's no way she could be elected. Don't ever say that. You give America too much credit. You give the system too much credit. You give human nature too much credit. You have no literal idea of what the hell you're talking about. It's that simple. It's that simple. I don't know how to put it in any other words, but don't ever say that. That notwithstanding, let me tell you what we're hearing today. First, this is kind of being leaked. And the leak is that Obama doesn't believe she can beat Trump. Now, this evening, President Trump was speaking. Where was he? In North Carolina? And he was great. He's still going. He looks better than ever. He is just a dynamo. And he does not stop. President Biden tonight I would not be surprised. First, we don't even know. Do you believe this was not recorded? How would we even know? I'm not going to say AI or any of that stuff. But how do we know it was even recorded? I don't know. But, it would make the most sense for him to say, see you later, have a nice day. We are going to announce you would think, because you know this, he is not going to make it. Let me see if I can explain this thing to you, which is very, very critical. It is 179 days until the inauguration next year, January 20th. So there's no way he can do it. Okay? There's no way he can do it. Let me just say this again. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the polling. I don't care about the debate. I don't care what Jill says. He can't do it. Period. End of discussion. So when is he going to step down? Could it be that the Democratic Party is this screwed up, where you have these internecine battles where they're upset with the fact that how do I say this? They're upset with the fact that Joe Biden was not supposed to endorse Kamala. Did you read the story that Obama was upset because he likes this Mark Kelly and all? Mark Kelly. What is this Mark Kelly thing? I don't understand him. Or Josh Shapiro. Oh, no, that might be interesting. Did you see what those protesters did in Washington? That is disgusting. I don't give a damn who did it. If the American Legion did this, if the Medal of Honor Society did it, that is disgusting. To deface property that's our capital? No. Makes me think, are they really who they say they are? I mean, what better way to have people align against than to have a bunch of agents provocateurs act like a horse's ass and tear anything up? But somebody tells me, no, that's exactly what it is, because there's this, it's just demented. I don't know how anybody can say this. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Did you hear Benjamin Bibi's big line today? He said, gays for Gaza. He goes, gays for Gaza. That's like having chickens for KFC. Get it? Okay. And they kept playing this over and over and over. But the only thing I've got to tell you, the fact that there was more security for a foreign leader than President Trump, that infuriated me. Insidious says, remember when vote counting stopped at 2 a.m. in 2020? That's right. Remember that was we're gonna go back in certain places. You're right about that. Never forget about that. So anyway, back to where we are. What they're going to be doing right now is, I have a feeling, be on the lookout for this. Number one, intramural fighting within the Democratic Party. Internecine fighting. People who are not thrilled. People who don't like any of this. This lack of enthusiasm on the part of Democrats. This Kamala, you got to be kidding me attitude. That's very critical. That says it all. Kamala, what? No way. What people are saying in the business, okay? What people are saying is that there's nothing there. Now, we know this to an extent, but I mean, there's nothing there for purposes of people to latch on to. You're not going to vote for somebody merely because they represent a certain demographic. Because she's a black woman, that's it, I'm voting for her. Some people might, but do not count on that. Do not count on that. That is a very, very dangerous thing. That's number one. As it becomes more, Fox News put out the invitation. Would you like to meet in a debate? Now, ABC, CNN was the first debate between Trump and Biden. And September was, I think ABC was supposed to be the second one. But we don't know, will Kamala agree to that? Because she will be destroyed. Why do I say that? Two reasons. First is what you're thinking, the obvious. She's an idiot. Now, let me say that again. She's an idiot. She doesn't know what to say. And I'm not just talking about her particular style. I mean, she does not grasp. She has never been a part of anything. She has said, they have recorded her saying, let's see what she does in Pennsylvania when she talks about against fracking. Let's see what she says. Let's see what she talks about, how she's for Green New Deal and she's for granting amnesty to illegal aliens, not to mention her own particular record where she talks about drug legalization, but then again, she put these people in jail. Her record is a mess. Her record is an absolute mess. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She is a lefty, but a confused lefty. She doesn't really believe what she's saying. That's it. Next, for reasons that are the most, to me, they don't make a bit of a big deal, but to a lot of people they do. The fact that she actively, openly, and legitimately, knowingly spoke regarding passing and the dissemination of lies regarding Joe Biden's his health. That's the thing that drives people crazy. They are not at all even remotely laying off that. You lied to us. You said he was in. You said he was okay. First of all, the fact that anybody did not know this, their own, is a different story. But this is something that they're really going to play up big time. Big time. Huge. Bigger than anything you can imagine. Believe me when I tell you this. This is a big deal to them. So she doesn't know what she's going to do. Today, when she went to speak with, say what you want, when any foreign leader speaks to Congress, normally, and by the way, Joe could have been there, but he whatever. I don't know that the president doesn't normally go into the House unless he's invited. But everybody was there for Zelensky. Everybody was there with Mr. T-shirt. Nobody missed that one. So the thing they've got to do is keeping in mind what's going on. What do they say to Kamala? The questions I would ask is yes or no. Ms. Harris, is Israel guilty of genocide? Yes or no? Oh my God. Then all those people you saw, those lefties or whatever, who, by the way, were stalwarts of the stalwarts of the Democratic Party, up to and including people like Nadler and Schumer and Pelosi, who were telling Bibi, back off, this is ridiculous. She wasn't there today. And in view of this horrible, this defacing of important, structures and historical monuments and name it, you're going to ask her flat out, do you condemn that? Do you condemn that? Hold her to her feet to the fire. Do it. Make sure she answers the question. She won't know what to do. She doesn't have an opinion. The Democrat in her, the leftist in her, cannot possibly jibe, cannot condone or condign, dare I say, the support of Israel. You can't do that. It's not a lefty thing, period. And a lot of them didn't show up. They didn't go. So that's one thing. You can go through her other decisions. Now, the next point you're going to be hearing more than anything else, and this is critical. She hates to be called border czar. Axios is supposed, which are very good, by the way, are saying she was never called a border czar. They called her a border czar. She wanted that. She was actually given in March of 2021, she was given this position. That, and of all things, artificial intelligence. That's so funny, it's not even funny. That's so funny, it's not even funny. I don't know what the hell that means. The very fact of Kamala Harris in the same sentence with artificial intelligence, I think is worth everything. They've got her saying the most ridiculous things anybody has seen. Now listen to me and listen carefully. This is what's important. That sugar high thing may last for a while. People might say, isn't that great that there is a black woman seeking the presidency? Yes, that is historically. I can understand that. That lasts for a while. And then we ask the question, okay, what are you going to do about it? Now that we've got this, let's hear what you have to say. When the idiocy starts pouring out, like when Joe's enfeebled condition became evident to everybody, when people couldn't take the fact that Joe was sitting there, which we saw for years. Again, I don't understand why the June 27th or whatever, why that debate was the killer. I do not understand that. He was only doing this before. Hell, he was falling down stairs, and he was. Kamala Harris, you know what else? They don't like her. She's been through more staff. This is something also. 92%. I sound like Trump. 92% turnover in her staff. They don't like her. She's not nice. No, but she's not likable. And when you realize it for the first time, people realize it. She's a phony. Do you understand this? She is a phony. This comes through. She never really had anything important. So if she said something when they were cutting a ribbon at a mall, okay, whatever. Or if she said something about, or she's dancing and she couldn't pull 2%. She dropped out before Iowa. She was a disaster. Nobody liked her. And you'd think she'd get better now. You'd think she'd say, let me tell you something. I learned a lot. You know, you learn a lot just hanging around in the White House. She hasn't. She hasn't. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. She hasn't learned anything. That's the part that kills me. She hasn't. Huh? Well, in 9 months, he never had a cabinet meeting. But when she was there doing nothing, she would have access, theoretically, to people to come to brief her, to teach her. She's there, either at the observatory where she lived or in the White House proper. She's got plenty of time. She was the vice president. She had time to learn this. She wasn't doing anything. Most people can't help but learn things. Facts, figures. You would think somebody would say, you know, let's go through some routine. I'm going to say this to you. You say this. This is what you need to know about the facts of the case. This is when you, and I've seen this before, when you when you make an argument a couple of times and you've done it, it becomes second nature to you. It's not necessarily that you are this authority on the subject, but you're very good at least of explaining it. So the good news is that as you sit down, Trump is going to start picking at her, but he can't do it personally. It's got to be about her qualifications. It's got to be about what she knows, about what she said, about what her positions are, not her personally. Don't give her any kind of a nickname. You don't have to say that she's ditzy or whatever it is. Don't. George Lenz says, Hillary's staff didn't like her, but she's high IQ. Hillary Clinton is a different story. You're right about that. Hillary Clinton is a different story. I don't want to defend her, but sometimes when a woman comes across as real bitchy, it's because she's tough. If a man were the same way, you would say that's Richard Nixon was tough. There is a degree of sexism, absolutely, absolutely. But let's get going. Wait until people start picking out, when they start realizing, oh my God. Now remember, somebody gave the Colberts the okay, the late night folks, somebody gave them the signal. You can go ahead and you can start to let her have it. Go ahead and do that. Take your time. We understand it. As far as Biden goes, you've defended him enough. We understand this. Do that. Okay, fine. When the word goes out, it's okay because it's so and too delicious to pass up. The reason what protected Biden was that there was a part of it that was sad. It was the fact that you're making fun of somebody who's sick. Well, Kamala's not sick. She's not ill. She's not senescent. She's not laboring under dotage. She's relatively young. She's just crazier than a loon. And that's okay. And once that gets out, once social media picks up, the power of social media, once the meme and the understanding, you can take all that first woman and you can throw it away. In fact, Black women are going to feel offended. This is what you brought? This is it? Now keep in mind, Obama loves more than anything else than to be the perceived, the grand, the grandmaster, the Mandarin, the poobah of the Democratic Party. He is it. He is it. He is the guy. And he has said, I didn't endorse her. You went ahead without my endorsement. Excuse me, Mr. President, but Joe Biden endorsed her. Shouldn't this have been coordinated? Makes him look bad. Didn't you know what was going on? You knew don't tell me you didn't know Biden was going to step down. If that was Biden, if that was his voice, if that doesn't scare you as far as what AI can be, nothing should. If that doesn't scare you, dear God. Now, here's what we're going to do to make sure we understand this. We are going to reconnoiter. We're going to circle back this eve at about, I put 8:30, but he'll probably talk for 5 minutes and that's it. If they didn't already record that. If he, there seems to be no indication of it, but he is going to step down, and pursuant to the 25th Amendment, she will naturally succeed. This is an absolute fact. It must occur. It will occur. We don't know when it's happening. But remember, is Trump still talking? Oh, this guy is and he looks better now than he did before. He's not joking, but he was almost assassinated. And by the by, The information that is being culled from experts and from snipers and whatever, it is so unbelievable. The dereliction of duty. And I say this again, Bibi Netanyahu gets more security than President Trump. I'm not suggesting he doesn't deserve security. But let me tell you something. And I want to say this again to you. To people in this country, the Israeli-Palestinian issue, they don't know what it is. In fact, if you read a lot of stuff like the New York Post, they call it anti-Israel. Well, it's anti-Netanyahu and okay, whatever. Or they call it pro-Hamas. And there are some people who say, no, I'm pro-Palestinian. There are other people who look at, and I know this is difficult, nobody in this country is going to understand this, but they look at Hamas as being a resistance party. They look at it as the resistance, like the French resistance, as the good guys, so to speak. You're not going to hear that in this country. They take it very, very seriously. And when if you want to learn anything about what's happening in this country regarding it, you're wasting your time because they simply just don't care about it. But the world cares like you can't believe. And Kamala Harris is going to be gibberish when it comes to this. The Brad says he mighty resign tonight. They're on a roll. I was thinking about that. It would be something, but it's hard to say. Would they have known this? Would they have? They need for the procession. There's a little bit of background. They have to have. She has to have her. She should have her vice president, which she picks. Then, of course, it's very confusing how this works, because remember, one of the things which is the most important too is that there's 26 days until the convention. 26 days. And remember, Obama wanted it to be an open convention. Thomas Otten says, Meghan Markle also treated her staff like crap. Kamala shamed Biden during a debate. Meghan shamed the royal family. There are other similarities. Indeed, there are. Indeed, there are. There is something about, and also remember too, Bibi Netanyahu shamed or attempted to shame Barack Obama when he said, I'm going to come to your town and I'm going to go to your Congress and I'm going to say some things and basically tell the world, I'm running the show, not you. He never forgot that. You know who has a very good memory? Michelle Obama. They don't forget that. They never liked Joe and they never liked Hillary, ever, because Hillary, as far as the Obama is concerned, Hillary was responsible for the whole birther movement. But this guy, Mark Penn, that was his memo that suggested that they were going to advance the idea that Obama was not American enough, which translated into that. So they don't forget that. So the good news is, number one, Democratic Party is in complete and total disarray. The bad news, the executive government is in complete and total disarray. We have nobody running the office. We have no president right now. We have a vacancy. Now, if anybody, believe me when I tell you this, don't feel about, well, what happens if somebody, how do I say this? What am I trying to say? Don't be surprised if somebody decides at some point to do something untoward, something involving some quasi-military action, knowing that there's nobody in charge, knowing that it might be the worst and the most dangerous because there might be an overreaction. So it's hard to say, but we have no one in charge now. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, dear friends. So in any event, it remains to be seen. We will be watching very, very carefully tonight to see what happens. Thomas Otten, I want to thank you, and the Brad and George Lanz and Insidious and Pilgrim. And don't forget Mare or Mare. I'm trying to jazz it up for you. Don't forget too, this is that Lionel Legal subscription. You should sign up for it because it did one today. We went live today, and I was giving you the idea of using the law of treason or one of its derivatives as a possibility of perhaps using it against Kamala Harris. Because if you have deliberately and actually aided, abetted, counseled, procured, or hired, if you would act as an accomplice in the dissolution, in the removal of laws meant to protect our borders, to keep our sovereignty intact and our liberty whole, if you are a part of trying to break that down, could you not be held criminally as some form of treasonesque, not in terms of levying war, but in the part that says giving aid and comfort to our enemies? Because who were the enemies? Who was the enemy? The cartels. The cartels. If the KKK was heavily armed in this country, and the KKK was involved in huge fentanyl distribution channels to, let's say, Canada or Mexico, but let's say Canada, and Canada said, tell your KKKers to stop it. We said, oh, no, that's, we're doing the best we can. No, you're not doing the best you can because you're not doing anything to stop it. You're not doing anything to stop it. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're not doing anything to stop it. Well, that's what the cartels are doing. And Mexico says this is terrific. They're working hand in hand with the Democratic Party. So we'll get to that part later. But I respectfully submit to you that Kamala Harris is not just necessarily liable to us for just mental and spiritual and emotional incompetence, but perhaps criminal exposure and criminal liability by virtue of the fact that she was directly responsible in a derogation of duty, an abrogation of her responsibility, and an abnegation of the oath of office that she took. That's what I believe. All right? Okay. So we'll sit tight. We'll circle back, as it were, at 8:25-ish, as soon as the speech is over. Make sure you keep notes. Make sure you notice very carefully what we're doing. Know, dear friends, that I love you. And don't forget, sign up right now for Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. She's got some unbelievable, oh my God, some unbelievable stuff. She's also the hottest in demand right now for reasons that I will discuss and we will discuss later on. That's the link for Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Go and sign up right there, and that will take you directly to the sign up pages. All right? Good. All right, dear friends. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. We'll see you, remember, immediately after the speech tonight, 8. I've scheduled it for 8:30. I might open up a little bit early, but let's just say 8:30. Make sure you take notes and let's review it. And the first thing you should be asking is this live or is it Memorex? Think about that. All right, dear friends, talk to you then. Remember, immediately after the speech. And until then, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.